Howdy, howdy. We are live, fresh back from STLV 2023, which Rachel, I believe it was your first time there at the
It
big
was my
Trek
first time
convention.
there. Yep.
So cool. So you'll have a first time experience to recount, and I've done the convention
Yeah.
several times, so I can compare it to the previous
Mhm.
ones I've attended. But yeah, if anyone is I see a lot of folks are already in our live audience. So hi everybody, glad you could make it here. And if anyone has any questions about the convention, by all means, now is the time to ask. So, starting with like Jill 47 talking about the thumbnail I used for this video, saying I don't really understand the pyramids. Is that a thing in Trek? And no, I don't think so. I should go find a picture of that to throw up here.
Yeah,
But
it's a vaguely sci-fi thing to look Trek adjacent, I feel like.
yeah. Um, but that's a great question. Before we get into talking about like the convention itself, just Rachel, I think that before the con even began, you spent some time in Vegas just doing like some other stuff. So
Yeah,
see anything cool
I
doing that?
mostly just did the I don't think I sent any pictures of those to myself to show, but mostly just did the strip. Did a little like two slot machines, and then I was like, obviously not a gambling addict because I was like, I'm done with this.
That's better
I
than
went
having
to
the opposite problem where you like it
Yeah,
too
I
much, I
played
guess.
tourist. I played tourist. I went and saw the sign. There was a Stranger Things pop up, so that was kind of fun. It literally had giant Funko Pops in it, and then a bunch of other like Stranger Things. It was mostly like a themed store. I didn't buy anything though because it was Vegas prices. So,
But that is the other
um,
advantage of having the con in Vegas is that you're in town to do the other stuff if you want.
and then I went and saw like a magic show, which was like fun. I cannot remember that guy's name right now. I think he was on America's Got Talent though. It was like a funny uh magician.
Okay, I have
Not did
that
not see Penn and Teller despite seeing pictures of Penn and Teller everywhere around the Rio.
right because that's their home. Whatever you
Mhm.
call that when you have like a set place where you go
The
to do all your
residency.
shows. Yeah, residency. There you go.
Hmm.
I'm clearly not like a Vegasy person. I'm just a STLV person. But I did find a
I
picture of that pyramid thing for Jill 47.
Ooh, nice. Oh, I'll have to grab Murph off of the Murph is behind me on the shelf right now. You can kind of see him behind me. But I can show
You,
off the autograph I got.
yeah. Well, I'll ask about your autographs and stuff in
Mhm.
just a moment. I'm trying to
Yeah.
get this picture of this
Oh yeah, I
pyramid
just
pulled
saw
up because
someone in the comments asking about
there it is. This is what Jill was talking
the
about.
not Borg hourglass. That's a pretty good.
Yeah. So I guess the reason for that is because STLV is no longer an official Star Trek event. So any of their images or anything, they can't use anything that's like an official Star Trek thing. So I guess they did like a Borg themed pyramid, but yeah, they couldn't have if they made it like an actual Borg cube, they might get in trouble. So they changed the
Mhm.
shape. It is weird and silly and kind of unfortunate. They used to do like, for example, one year this was like a big like Terran Empire thing, but that's in like the main rotunda room as you walk down to the convention floor at the Rio.
It is unfortunate, especially because there didn't end up being an actual official convention this year.
Yeah, because they canceled Seattle, so there was not an
Hmm.
official convention. The Star Trek cruise is like a licensed event, but that's not really a convention. It's a lot harder to it's it's a lot harder to you know go on a cruise than it is just to show up at a hotel, you know. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, like, it's always going to be a great time when you get a lot of like Star Trek fans together, especially if you're
Hmm.
active in any segment of the online community where you're not used to being in the same room with a lot of these Trekkies. It's also a way to people who like you met online. That's one of like the fun things for me is like people I met online, like getting to actually like see them in person, which I'm sure you were also participating in. But yeah, like
Yeah, I
here's a
definitely
picture
had
of
it. Oh,
us
it's
doing that.
funny. Yeah, there was definitely a thing where people would have to be like, "Hey," or they'd be like, "Hey, Rachel." I'd be like, and they'd like have to say their username because I was like, "Oh," I was like, "Okay, no, I do know you."
Yeah, and it's fun to, for me as someone who like goes to the con a lot, it's people that like I only see them at Star Trek
Hmm.
stuff. So it's cool to have like those friendships year after year, and it's cool to, like in this picture we have some Tex-Trek audience members. Our friend
Yep.
Jesse Gender is there also, and yeah, we took this on the first night, actually the night before the convention even begins,
Hmm.
the con eve, as Larry Nemechek likes to call it. They do that landing party event where Larry has trivia, and our team did pretty well.
Yes,
We got second place. It's the second year in a row
I
I got
got
second place at Larry's landing party, but
I got
next year it's gonna be
an
first. Damn
assortment
it!
of the most random Trek stuff.
Yeah, yeah. We did get prizes though. We split
Mhm.
them up. Joel is taking that 2 month membership to Portal 47, where Larry shares a lot of
Oh
like
yeah.
behind the scenes stuff. He has like people who like worked on a lot of past Star Trek to people that I guess are less in the spotlight, like not like the actors, but like the production people and the art people and the writers and folks like that.
Let's
So
see. One of the things I got was a cassette because I was the only one in the group with a cassette player.
yeah, you got the book on tape thing, right?
Yeah, and then I got John Delancey to sign it because I thought it was funny
Because
to
it's a
like
Q
own this.
thing. What
It's
story is it?
it's Q and Law.
Q. So that was the book by. Does it say who wrote it on
It's
there?
it's Peter David,
Peter David. Okay, I was thinking it was Peter
and
David,
then
but I didn't want
it's
to be wrong.
read by John Delancey and Majel Barrett.
That's a great find.
Yeah. But I
Are you
did
gonna listen
love.
to it?
I'll try. I don't know how my. I've never tried to use the cassette player in my transceiver, so we'll have to see if it actually works. I usually use my transceiver to listen to records, not cassette tapes.
Yeah, I haven't listened to a
Oh.
cassette tape in quite a while, so
Yeah, I no idea when the last time I did.
I think it was like the last time I had a car that had a cassette tape player, which was a while ago. Um,
I'm trying to think whether my first card had a cassette player or not. I think it might have just had a CD player.
but yeah, that's I've never read that book, but I've heard about a lot of fun
Mhm.
stuff from it. Um,
Yeah, and I
but
bet the audiobook would be really fun, just with those two.
So people who've gone to STLV at the Rio, I think a lot of folks know that like the Masquerade Bar is kind of like that's like the magnet for where everyone goes to hang out at the end of the night after the convention programming is done. But we had a picture we took here where we could say hi to our friend Starfleet Sohel. So that was a lot of fun. Our
Yeah.
frequent audience member Joel with a dry erase board. It was a good idea to write messages on there for pictures.
I think
That's us saying hi to Aaron. Did you take this picture, Rachel?
I have no idea where I did not take this photo. I have no idea where I was
Oh,
when this photo was taken. Maybe I had already left because I had been out in the sun all day.
uh,
Wednesday I discovered Vegas does not have free water.
they don't
And
have
I was
free
being
anything.
discovered. Yeah.
Vegas has the least amount
And
of
I was
free
being
stuff.
I but free water is the only thing I actually demand.
Well, you were staying at the Gold Coast, adjacent to the Rio,
Hmm.
which a lot of people do that. I've
Yeah.
never done that, but what was that
I
like?
was I would say it was like pretty easy. I mean, it was kind of annoying to have to cross in the summer in the sun, but like all in all, pretty easy. Like I was able to go and get out of a cosplay and I changed into this shirt and like I maybe took me it honestly it took me like an hour, but it was mostly because I was like getting changed and then my roommate came in and so like we were talking a little bit. But it like it was pretty easy. It's really well lit. I will say I did almost get hit by a car once, but that's because a car ran a red light,
Yeah,
and I
there's
had to
no
like
accounting for assholes who don't understand what a red light is. But
Yeah. And he did this thing where he like honked at me and then kind of made a face like, "Oh, wait, do you have a green light?" And
oh
luckily
wait,
I
did
was
did
not
you have
that
the right of
close to
way?
him. Yeah, I totally had the right way. Like I was paying close enough attention. I didn't really get close to the car because I could tell he wasn't paying attention. And then there were people crossing the other way. We just look at each other like, "What the hell is that?"
Were you in like a Starfleet uniform or something? Was he like, I'm a Star Wars fan. I'm gonna run over you Trekkies?
I
Surely not.
think I might have been wearing this, like the pink Starfleet uniform. I think it might have been when I went and changed.
That was a popular cosplay at Vegas. I think it was. I
It
think
was well, I
I
bought
blame that
this.
on Barbie part, or not blame, but I
Uh,
credit that to Barbie. I
yeah.
think.
One because they were selling them there. I almost bought this top before the convention, and then they sold out. And then they were oh, I'm trying pop something. I'm trying to remember the name of the place that sells them. Um, I also this is also really comfortable, and then I saw them there, and I was like, mine's made up, buying it now. It
Uh,
is like, but it's so comfortable.
yeah. Like I said, it was popular. Pink is in right now.
Yeah. I was
We
you could also buy purple and normal Starfleet colors. I have plenty of like Starfleet uniforms in normal Starfleet colors though.
So, Rachel, I don't know if you have any pictures that you might want to share later in a moment, but I'm thinking that
Yeah.
why don't we talk about like the convention programming first? You know, like the panels,
Hmm.
some of like the other stuff that like the official things that Creation was doing on stage, and then let's talk about
Yeah.
cosplay, and then talk about like stuff that we
Hmm.
bought, like photo ops, autographs, merch, stuff
Yeah.
like that. So, just starting with the convention programming first. Here's a picture I took of Joel in front of a picture of Joel in the main theater. If people who haven't gone to STLV, they have three stages. The big one is the Leonard
Mhm.
Nimoy Theater, and then the second biggest is the DeForest Kelley Theater, and then the third one is the Roddenberry stage. Sometimes in years past, it's been the Gene Roddenberry stage, it's been the Gene and Majel Roddenberry stage, and then back when it was like the official thing, CBS All Access took over that stage. They made it the CBS All Access stage. Then when it became unofficial, it went back to being the Roddenberry stage. But yeah, here's the big theater room, the Nimoy Theater, where
Mhm.
the big panels are. You know, the panels with actors. Um, George Takei was there. It's a huge theater, so if you can't like sit close to the stage, don't worry. They have like these TVs where they can,
Oh
project
yeah.
George Takei's giant face like that. But they we
I'm
have
now looking back, I'm really impressed that George Takei got in one of those yellow chairs because they were very low.
well, yeah, I was gonna say that all three of the TOS actors that are surviving or made it to the
Mhm.
con, Shatner, Takei, and Walter Koenig, and they all seemed pretty healthy and in good shape
Yeah.
for their age. So I was happy to see that. Last time I had seen them,
Mhm.
it was on the cruise. And I was like, man, these guys they're getting a little like they seemed like it was hard for them to be there. I think it was just all the logistics of like getting on a cruise ship. They were just kind of tired and worn out.
Probably.
They were all three of them seemed much more energetic. So I was happy to see that. I was like, oh, look at them
Mhm.
still, enjoying the cons and stuff. And here's a picture I took of Max Gradinchik and Chase Masterson on stage, just because it's one of the first panels I did. But it was interesting seeing the actors were under strict instructions not to discuss the struck work, which
Mhm.
most everyone was really good about. We'll talk about the one who
We're
wasn't.
we'll get to that later.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
just for example, when Max and Chase went on, they knew that there might have been like a lot of questions they couldn't answer, so they did some singing, they did like some fun stuff. Tim Russ also busted out the guitar, or
Mhm.
well, he would have if Robert Beltran hadn't been as big of
Yeah.
an ass as he was being, probably.
He
But I think
ended up
Tim Russ
busting it
still
out,
did, yeah.
but yeah,
I
it
much
was
would have preferred that, but
mhm. Yeah, I mean, he busted out a couple times. Actually, every time we saw Tim Russ, he was lugging around that guitar.
yeah, that was funny. We saw him like waiting in line to the elevator with the guitar. Um,
Yeah.
but
Oh, was it the elevator? I thought it was the restroom. You know the
um,
Rio better than I do.
yeah,
So.
it was the elevator, I believe. What were some of like the panel highlights? Were there any that like really before we talk about the
Um,
what's the opposite of a highlight? A low light, I guess. Before we talk about the Maquis
yeah.
captain in the room.
Now we're trying to think the highlights. The Prodigy panel in general.
Yes,
Um, the Prodigy panel got lucky in that animated TV is not struck work.
yes. So they can talk
So
about that.
yeah, and the same thing with the animation panel. I also like I really enjoyed a lot of them. But seeing like both Spocks on stage was great.
Yeah, that was cool
And
because
even if
Zachary Quinto doesn't do a ton of cons. So sorry to
yeah.
interrupt, but just seeing the
Also
two of them
Zachary
on
Quinto is
stage.
very eloquent. Like I was really enjoying just hearing him talk. I was like, "Oh, I would pay to just hear like a conversation with Zachary Quinto, like kind of deal."
Yeah, he's very like well spoken and thoughtful,
Hmm.
and but still very like chatty and
Yeah.
willing to speak on things. It actually reminded me of a lot of how like Leonard Nimoy would behave at cons and stuff, and being fielded questions and stuff like
Hmm.
that. He was also like very thoughtful and very elegant and spoke very elegantly. And Ethan Peck, I think, has he's a bit shy around. It's crazy to me to think like these these big actors would ever be millions of people watch them on screen. They'd be nervous in front of big crowds, but he's a bit
It
more reserved. But he still has I can tell like he still has like that same kind of like thoughtfulness and curiosity.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, he seems thoughtful, just a little shyer than,
yeah,
which it actually didn't surprise. So they came out and they talked together for a while, and Ethan Peck revealed like he's never done theater, and the idea scares him. And I was like, to me watching you on stage right now, that doesn't necessarily surprise me that you've never like that the idea of a theater crowd is like a little intimidating to him.
right. Yeah, he said that even just being there at Vegas in front of the Star Trek fans who like we already like you, we're already fans of you. We came to your panel,
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
he said even that was
we.
kind of nerve wracking for him. But I really enjoyed Quinto talking about just being friends with Nimoy for the last decade of
Hmm.
Nimoy's life. How they spoke a lot making that first Kelvin movie, and they never lost contact. They stayed friends all the way until Nimoy's death, and it was fun to see Ethan Peck. Ethan Peck was excited to be on stage with Quinto because I think they mentioned they had met briefly, but they'd never had time to speak to
Yeah.
each other. And he said he had like so many
Hmm.
questions of him about like playing Spock, and it was fun to hear. I would
Oh
love
yeah.
if wouldn't it be awesome if Quinto and Ethan Peck developed kind of like that same friendship that Quinto had with Nimoy, and it kind of
That would be
passes the
really
torch.
cool. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I love that. When I thought it was interesting, Ethan Peck said he met some of Nimoy's family, and he was like, "What did you get from it?" And like Ethan Peck was like, "I was terrified."
Yes. He's like I just hope they don't
Like,
hate me, basically.
which I get because like I think Zachary Quinto got like actual time with Leonard Nimoy because they actually worked together, whereas
Hmm.
I think he just briefly met Leonard Nimoy's family.
Right. Right. Um, yeah, it sounds like Quinto would knows them a lot better. He says he still talks to Leonard's wife, or widow.
Yeah,
Um, but I agree that was a big panel highlight. I wish I had some good pictures of the Prodigy panel. Uh,
I don't know if I do. I can look through my phone and see if I do real quick. I also, I really enjoyed Paul Wesley and French Canadian name I can't pronounce.
the
Um,
Sam Kirk actor, yeah,
yeah,
none of us can say his
yes.
last name, but it was fun seeing the two of them together on stage.
Hmm.
And they also scheduled that right before the Shatner panel so that they could bring out Shatner and have the original actor of
Yeah.
both Jim Kirk and Sam Kirk. It was Kirktastic. Every Kirk but Chris Pine. But yeah,
I
that was I didn't recognize Sam without the mustache.
I know he can go incognito if he wants to.
Yeah, we're all just trained to associate the mustache with him. Um, his name is
I
Janot.
have
Is that how you say it?
that
Dan
sounds
Janot.
right.
We should know. We heard it
I
said
have
several times.
several times. Let me I have an okay picture of the Prodigy panel. Not an amazing one. I don't think we were. I like, and then I like we were sitting together, and then I went up because they were doing a cosplay thing,
Mm-hmm.
and I was Hollow Janeway and had Murph. Let me.
While Rachel's looking for that, I'll
Yeah.
just tell a story about like one of the panels we went to had some Star Trek Picard actors, Jerry
Mhm.
Ryan, Ed Spaliers, and Michelle Hurd, I believe, were on stage.
Yes.
Michelle Hurd, who deserves a lot of credit for this convention still having actors there at all, because the union really did not want this type of thing, and she made a case to them like, no, this is not official with Paramount.
Mhm.
We actors need to be able to go, and that's part of our job, being there for our fans and doing these things to promote ourselves. So some of the
Yeah,
rules was like
and
they
it
couldn't
also.
sign, or they couldn't sell pictures of themselves in character to be signed, but if
Mhm.
other people brought those to them, they could sign
Yeah,
and stuff
which
like
is
that.
why I had brought some DVD. I didn't end up needing them, but I brought some DVDs with me just in case. I got cassette tapes signed instead.
uh,
Which I'm
Canadian
not.
audience member Ben
Mhm.
Ginium says it's Janot, so I'm going to trust him on the
I'm.
pronunciation
I'll
of
go
this
with
French
it.
Canadian. I know that in Quebec they pronounce a lot of stuff different from France, so I'll take
Hmm.
the word of a Canadian. But
I
yeah,
I said this like to you during the panel. Why does Paul Wesley look like a model? Like,
yeah, he was just like chilling in a chair, just trying to like obviously like not putting any effort into it. And Rachel was like, "Oh my god,
yeah.
he's so beautiful, just sitting there."
I like took a picture and his hands were just placed in like the way where he looked like he was posing for a magazine. Yes, Joel, you have been proven to be real.
Yeah, we've
Um,
confirmed there was no mobile emitter detected. But it was a blast. Just while Joel was here, just let me
yeah.
point out, like it was a real treat for me just to get to hang out with Joel in person, and he was so
It
kind and so
was.
he was helpful
Yeah.
to me, because a lot of times I'm just like it's hard for me to function at a convention by myself. I'm
Mhm.
I'm it's a lot of work for me sometimes to try to post and take pictures and stuff. And Joel was
Mhm.
very, very
I would
helpful.
say, as someone with a TikTok, I really did not film enough at this convention.
I still did not take like nearly as many pictures. I
Yeah.
wish I had like more. I just when I was putting these slides together, I was like, I did not get like enough pictures of all the great cosplay. But
Um, I have the picture of the Prodigy panel. It's not the best picture in the world. Do you want me to like send it to you? What's the easiest way to do
yeah, you
this?
can send it to me, or you can share it from your
Okay.
computer. But if you send it to me, I'll throw it up.
Yeah. I have more. I did not get as much pictures of cosplay as I should have. Um,
Same.
but I was seeing a lot of it on Twitter too, which was nice because then I could like go and um look there. Most of the cosplay I have pictures of is just the cosplay my friends were in.
Yeah, I do have like some cosplay pictures that I can throw up in a minute. But let's look at
This
this
is not
this
the best picture
Prodigy
in the world, but
panel.
I just sent it to you on Facebook.
Okay, let me see if I can find like a picture of everyone in all y'all in cosplay before, at
Oh
for the
yeah,
Prodigy
I
panel,
obviously
because
did not get a picture of that because I was up there. I was there's one picture I saw that's like the group of the cosplayers, but I was at the very end, so I'm not in it.
yeah, like, here's a picture of like the Enterprisians. Um, and let me pull that up.
Although, like, if you find a group photo that just doesn't include me, I have plenty of pictures of me in that cosplay with either with people or with. Um, yeah, I only really cosplayed on 2 days. The other days I wore nerdy themed dresses.
Yeah, I didn't do a ton of cosplay, but I did a little bit. But here's the
Yeah.
Enterprisian gang. And you were Hollow Janeway this day, and our friend Heather
Mm-hmm.
was Murph. But that
So
was
I don't know if
cool.
I sent it to me. Heather,
That was,
I have a selfie with Heather while we were like waiting for the cosplay stuff to start.
but that was a cool idea because Prodigy obviously being the Star Trek show that's gotten the least amount of love and care lately. Being canceled and all, and
Mm-hmm.
not having a home for season two. It kind of got to steal the show a little bit, at least
Yeah.
Saturday for sure, because it did have like the biggest panel it had. The cosplay contest that they did, there was this huge group of Enterpriseians, which I loved. There's actually more than this, I think, but it
Mm-hmm.
just made sense there'd be a lot of them running around, kind of like how at like Star Wars events, there's always a lot of stormtroopers and stuff. But the other thing I was going to talk about that happened in the main theater was during the panel with Michelle Hurd, Jerry Ryan, and Ed Spaliers. They mentioned the fundraising they're doing for Jerry Ryan's double, who was diagnosed with ALS. Were you around for that panel when that happened?
Yeah,
Um,
I was. That was like oof, emotional. Like,
yeah, which a lot of people in the Star Trek fandom are probably aware of because Discovery actor Ken Mitchell. Well, he also did Lower Decks. Star Trek actor Ken Mitchell, his battle with ALS, and it was really heartwarming to hear how much money Star Trek has already raised for that, and
mm-hmm.
I'm happy to say that Tara, did I get it right? Because I'm always like, is it Tara or Tara? Tara is like the New York way of saying it, right? But here's a picture of me and Tara, who's not only like an audience member of Tex-Trek, but also a very generous person who gave a large contribution there on the spot, and
Oh
moderator
yeah,
Ian Spelling allowed her to
did
come on stage.
she also did a great job with moderating, considering that's
Yeah,
not like a thing she
yeah,
would
he
normally think be
he
doing.
he was like a moderator Ian Spelling, who used to work for StarTrek.com, and he's like an absolute professional and moderates panels all the time. He just gave up his desk. He had like a little like talk show host desk. He's like set down next
The
to like
talk
these
show desk
these
was a
people.
little ridiculous because of
It
how
was
much bigger, like how much bigger it was than the chairs they had everyone else on.
Yeah, it's like I guess they wanted everything big on the stage because it was such
Yeah.
a big stage. But he got up from his desk. Tara took the seat and actually asked like some good questions, and then
Hmm.
turned it over to the audience and was so that's another interesting thing is that like at the panels, fans were still able to ask questions, but they just had to be careful. Like you couldn't ask the
Hmm.
anything specific about like the shows or the characters, but you could ask other things like um, during the lower decks panel, for example, where they actually were allowed to talk about the show. And Tawny Newsome was asked a question about the Strange New Worlds crossover. She's like, "Oh, I can't talk about that. I can only talk about animation stuff because
Yeah.
that's not struck work." But even then, like half the questions weren't even about the show. They would ask all kinds of stuff about like these actors' lives, like
I
interesting
think
stories.
people had questions prepared because they were like going
Yeah,
in aware of the strike.
so honestly, I was very proud of the Star Trek fans. I
Mhm.
think a lot of people were very understanding and were asking thoughtful questions, better than I would have thought. To be honest, I would have been like, man, they need.
Hmm.
Was there someone there vetting the questions before they would like get on the mic, like asking them like, what are you gonna
I don't
ask?
think so because some still like would get
Yeah.
through. And they'd be
See,
like,
I
"I'm
would
sorry,
have.
can't ask that."
I wouldn't have even been trusting enough to just like let people ask. I would have been like vetting the questions if I had been in charge. But yeah, I
Same.
mean,
I totally would have been.
people did good though.
No,
People
there
did
definitely
well.
wasn't because a panel I wasn't asked at. Apparently, someone asked Jerry Ryan about the like tension between her and Kate Mulgrew, and someone was like, "Can we stop asking that?" Like, I feel like that's been addressed to death.
Yeah. Um, yeah, that's probably just best to be remembered as water under the bridge at this point.
Yeah,
Um, but the bad panel, the bad actor,
the
perhaps in
the
multiple
Voyager.
senses. Yeah, it was
So
frustrating if people don't know what we're talking about. But the Robert Beltran was the one person I saw not compliant with the
yeah,
union guidelines.
and like there were other people that slipped up. Robert Beltram was being uh like doing it on purpose.
Yeah, there were other times where people would be like, like in the episode, and they'd be, "Oh shit, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that."
Yeah.
Which yeah,
I don't
I
know
don't
if
want to like
there was
throw
a
anyone
time
under the
even
bus. And
there was like someone did it, and then we all were like, and then he kept talking, and then he went, "Oh no!"
yeah,
Like,
but
but you could
beyond
hear the
beyond
entire
that,
audience be like, stop it!" Like,
beyond a accidental slip up, the Robert Beltran thing was very
it was
not just like
really
on
awkward.
purpose, but it was like unrelenting. Like he wouldn't let it
Yeah.
go. Like as soon as someone tried to call him out on it, it was weird. I don't, do you want to recount it, or do you want me to try to
I
describe what happened?
it was I don't because well like I think someone else on the panel slipped up and he went, "Oh no, we can't talk about it." It's like, we yes we can, and he's like, "These people should get their money back," and I was like, I poor Chase Masterson.
Yeah,
I is like,
she was moderating. She moderated that
yeah,
panel.
and she's like just trying to do her job, and I don't know, maybe I was feeling into this. It's just like watching like a woman trying to do her job correctly as a guy. It's just like railroading everything was like not a great feeling.
Yeah, I mean,
And like,
she kept telling him like, we have like
yeah,
instructions on from creation on
mhm,
like what we can and can't talk about,
yeah,
and you're going to lose your SAG card if you keep this up. And he was just like going off the wall with like, see how quickly we bow down to tyranny, and like they were like,
yeah.
stop talking about Star Trek. He's like, no, I won't stop saying it. Star Trek Voyager, because I remain an American back when we were America, when we were able to say whatever we wanted.
I want to point if he really had that much like problem with the strike rules, he could have just not taken Creation's money and not come
Yeah.
and like backed out.
So I honestly think that it's possible he does actually face some ramifications. I don't know if he'll be fined by the
Yeah.
union, or what will happen there, but I would not be shocked if there was something that came from that.
It just he didn't. I would say not harm Chase Masterson. It's just that like she clearly was distressed.
She
She
was
was
she
not
was
physically
flustered.
harmed. Yeah.
But yeah,
I
she
would say
did
the
not.
other two on the panel were like trying to be normal, goofy stuff. They were not involved in that what Rob like the breaking of the rules that Robert Belcher was part of.
Yeah, he was on stage with
Mhm.
also who it was
Garrett,
Garrett Wong and
uh,
Tim Russ.
um, yeah. It was like awkward because some people in the audience were encouraging it, and some people clearly were like, um, I guess more like us who had been like, I don't know, in support of the strike. So it was like it was just really awkward. I don't think there wasn't a great way to like. I don't know how it could have been handled better.
If he had just shut up.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if Robert Belton wasn't a jerk, that would be. But I don't. Besides the fact that I clearly can't control what Robert Belton does with his life, what I thought was funny is I had thought about bringing Murph back that day to get him to sign it because he's in Prodigy, and I decided I was like, I've heard not great stuff about him anyways, and like it's easier to pack him up. And now I was like, thank God I didn't, because I did not want to spend any time with him after that.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, Rachel,
Yeah,
because you were carrying around this cardboard Murph that you had
Murph.
made that looked
He's
great, or whatever
right
material.
there. He is
Um,
cardboard. That is. Um, I can grab him. He's on the shelf.
I got him right here.
Yeah.
Here's a picture of you and the Prodigy gang. So we have Aaron Welke, the Hagemans, Bonnie
Mm-hmm.
Gordon right next to you, composer
Mm-hmm.
Nami, who we're trying to get on the show soon.
Yes.
Really, really cool. And you had these people sign it, and also Bob Picardo. Now that he's officially
Yep.
part of
Now
Star
he's
Trek Prodigy, you want to talk about that story?
uh yeah, that the Hagman brothers knew who I was.
Oh,
That
that's
was
yes, yes.
confusing.
I learned how to tell them apart. Kevin is the one with the curly hair, and Dan is the one with the beard. Thank you,
I
Aaron
think
Walke, for explaining that to me.
yeah.
And
I had a funny where I thought Aaron would know who I was because he's been on Tex-Trek and like we follow each other. And I guess technically the Hagman brothers follow me on Twitter. But Dan, I think while I was walking up because I was gonna go to Bonnie's booth, he came up to me and went, "You're Rachel, right?" Which is bizarre. I did not expect that. And then they were uh, thanking me for like talking about Prodigy. That was, I don't know if there's um I don't know. I'm still flustered by the everything that happened at this moment.
There was a lot going on.
And
There's a lot to
then
take in.
yeah, they were like, let's all get a group photo. And then I was looking, I was with the roommate that I was like sharing a room with like at in Vegas, and I handed her my phone, like, can you take this photo for me? Because they're taking it on someone else's photo too. And I got them all to like sign the back of Murph. What's funny is I thought I would just go to Bonnie and be like, hey, I know Aaron Harvey too. Not like have a whole moment with
Yeah.
everybody.
Did you mention to Bonnie that we're friends
I
with Aaron?
did. I did mention
Oh,
to her
nice,
that I was
nice,
friends with Aaron. Yeah.
cool.
Because I was
And I
like,
found
but yeah, but that was really cool and a lot.
and I found out from Dan Hageman, the one with the brother with the beard. He said
Yeah.
that like, oh yeah, I've watched Tex-Trek. And then I believe him. He was actually telling the truth because then he said like, I mean, not every episode, but I've seen like 5 or 6 for sure. So I was like, okay, he's telling the truth because he wouldn't make that part up. But yeah,
Yeah.
he knew about us. So if any of them are watching now, hi whoever. But yeah, we support Prodigy and hashtag save Star Trek Prodigy and looking
Yeah.
forward to it
I
getting
was
a
say
home. I
I believe them because they mentioned like a video I made early on, like, and they were like, "Oh yeah, you've been making videos from the beginning. You made that one about like you would die for Murph," and I was like, "Oh, that is a video I made." Like, I was like, "Oh
yeah,
wow."
they were more familiar with your TikTok work than they were with what we do on YouTube. It sounds like, but I
I
loved just speaking to them when we got the chance to
hmm
talk.
They were
They're
all
all
they were so nice.
yeah, and extremely optimistic about the show
Hmm
finding a new home. They kept reiterating that. And the the clip they showed definitely excited people. We're actually going to do a breakdown and reaction stream to that clip tomorrow night, so people should make sure that you're subscribed, that you have notifications on, so you don't forget about it, and come back tomorrow and check that out. But you looking forward to discussing that in more detail, especially with the return of the Doctor. We got a new ship with the Voyager
Yeah.
A, so that's going to be tons of
I'll
fun.
say I'm really glad they posted that clip because I didn't hear after Robert Ricardo showed up in the clip. It was a little hard to hear because we were all really excited.
Yeah, yeah, people were pretty intensely screaming, and I did not catch the
Yeah, I mean,
next couple of
me
lines of
too. So
dialogue.
I'm not like I think we all of us were. It's not like me being like the other people were screaming. No, I was cheering.
But I when I spoke to Kevin Hageman, I asked
Mhm.
him if well, I'm thinking it's either going to be Netflix or Amazon, but I'm an idiot.
Mhm.
The professional, made the show. Does that sound
Yeah.
right to you? And he agreed with me.
Mhm.
But he was thinking that Amazon would be more likely, and the reason is that they have more of a relationship with Paramount. They do more of the overseas stuff right now than Netflix,
Mm.
and also like Amazon's not as much of direct competition with Paramount Plus because you can sign up for Paramount Plus through Amazon. They don't have that same type of arrangement with Netflix. So, from Paramount's
Oh, that's
perspective,
interesting.
it would make more sense to push people towards Amazon than say
Yeah.
Netflix. And
hmm
people can also buy Star Trek episodes through Amazon, so they'd probably rather
Also,
you
can we just say how
look
cute
there.
Bonnie's dress is in this photo?
Yeah, and Bonnie was doing some performances on stage. Unfortunately, she couldn't sing any of her material that has Star Trek references, or she actually has songs about like Star Wars and like other nerdy things too. She was
Yeah.
doing nerdy material long before she was
There was
on Star
one
Trek.
I was like during a time when it was like pretty loud, so I couldn't really make out the lyrics that well. But she did a parody song with like lyrics about the strike, which I thought was a fun thing to do when she couldn't do her other stuff.
I yeah, that was a good idea. But
Mhm.
speaking of like musical stuff like that, they do a few different things, official programming. with that type of thing. Like they had, like the Roddenberrys played a concert, the house band. They like, play people on and off the stage. They're at like a Star Trek themed cabaret band. They're frequently
I
at STLV.
I love that they ended up feeling like bouncers. That they would just like appear when it was time for the people to get off stage, and they'd be like, "What are
Yeah,
you
like
doing back there?"
getting played off at the Oscars. There's also some karaoke that
Yeah.
here's speaking of the Doctor. Here's Bob
Mhm.
Picardo on stage at Connor Trenier and Dominic Keating's karaoke night, singing "Ain't That a Kick in the Head."
Yep. I never thought I would see Robert Ricardo singing like Dean Martin songs in real life, but like that's a thing that happened to me.
Uh, I'm trying to think of like what else were they doing on the on the DeForest Kelly stage at night, like other than karaoke. We had that meme game
Um,
that we went to with
the
Larry
meme game that
Nemechek's.
Nemechek did.
Yeah, just he just throw up images and people would try to come up with
Yeah.
memes for them. Um, but there's
I think
on
I
the
only
on the
went up twice. For most of them, I was like, I have nothing for this.
the Roddenberry stage. You got like a lot of like smaller like smaller as in
Yeah.
like I'd say like even like more like intimate. Like people are like literally like sitting
Yeah.
closer to the stage, and it's more like more
It was
like direct.
and more fan base panels, I would
Yeah,
say.
it's they call it like the interactive stage because it's designed to be like a bit more
Hmm.
engaged with the crowd.
Yeah.
Um, they would do like this little like morning show thing that John Champion and Jessica.
I was
I don't.
never there early enough to go to
I
that.
can't remember how to say her last name. Um, but my friend Callie Wright was also doing Klingon language lessons. So if you ever wanted to learn how to say the writers and actors deserve a fair deal in Klingon, you can ask Callie Wright. They will instruct you in
Fantastic.
the. Also, if you want to know how to say like dirty words in Klingon, talk to Callie Wright. Um, and here's another example, like the Roddenberry stage. But my friend Kellen, or Thrifty Trekkie, as they're referred to on Twitter and on the socials, was doing makeup tutorials. So here they are applying some trail spots to someone.
I'm always so impressed by their costumes.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
really, really great Trek cosplayer, and their gimmick is like, I'm gonna show you how to cosplay on the cheap, and they make everything
hmm
themselves on. It's really cool. It was a cool like kind of a niche to make a name for yourself in that they seem to have done really well with. So please follow Thrifty Trekkie. I don't know. Am I forgetting like any like big programming stuff, like any panels or anything else?
um,
So
I'm trying to remember. We went to the like last panel we went to was about, oh my God, um like charity work in Star Trek and like the Star Trek
oh
fandom.
yeah, yeah. My friend Matt Simone
Yeah. hmm
um, did the
And
the Trek
my
Division
friend like our
panel,
yeah, our friend like Heather was also on that panel.
and John Billingsley. Don't forget about him.
Yes. There was also
Uh,
a Star Trek actor there.
yeah,
But it's about
um,
activism. That's the word I was looking for, like activism in the Star Trek community.
yeah, yeah. People should pay attention to the Trektivism people because they're trying to
Hmm
build some momentum. They're planning to launch a
Yeah.
podcast soon, and they're looking to do. But like John Billingsley, for example, he's very involved in the Hollywood Food Coalition. That's
hmm
his charity. He's like he might be like head of the board, or I know he's like officially involved with it. But a lot of people are
hmm
aware of the Trek Talks thing. It's kind of like a virtual convention. They started it in COVID. When the
hmm
virtual conventions were the trendy thing, but they raise a lot of money
Yeah.
for feeding people in the LA area. But yeah, I don't have anything else on programming. So, what was some of like the coolest
I
cosplay you saw?
um oh the Paul Wraith lady.
Oh, I missed that.
Oh, I
Yeah,
think I have a picture of her. I might have to send here. Go through the pictures you do have, and I think I have a picture of the Paul Wraith lady.
yeah. I mean, I
Because I
didn't like I
saw
said.
her again later, and that's how I got you a bookmark.
Yes, but there's someone trying to spread the word of the paw race. Well, we'll talk about them in a second. But
Yeah.
Like I mentioned, I did not get like enough pictures of all the cool cosplay out there. Brent Spiner infamously was posting the picture of the Magato in the men's room. Have you seen that, Rachel? You know what I'm talking about?
No, I'll have to look at his Twitter.
Yeah, I didn't want to share it on here because it feels weird for me to like post a picture that was like taken in the restroom. Like I
Yeah.
don't want to do that, but
I'm hoping Brent Spiner probably got permission from that person. Like, this is funny. Can I do this?
yeah, I don't know if Brent did, but it's easy to find, and it is a hilarious image. And then Terry Metalis posted a picture of Brent Spiner taking a picture of a Magato taking a leak at a urinal. So there's documentation of
Well,
the picture being taken.
I sent you a picture of the Paw Wraith lady.
Oh, I finally got a picture of her. Okay, I've been asking
Yeah.
because I regret not being able to see this, but okay, I'll throw it up in a second.
I think
Um,
she passed by us while we were at a panel. So she was handing out like literature about the Paw Wraiths with weirdly good quality too.
yeah, so here we have one of Gold Ducat's followers. We found like one of the pamphlets that we assume belonged to her. That was
Yeah.
it looked like
She
something
was
like
so she handed us the bookmarks, and then I got you one again. I saw her again, and I said, "Can I get another bookmark for my friend?" And she was like, "Yes, I want to get rid of these before I leave."
I like her Cardassian baby doll though. It's pretty
Yeah.
funny.
Oh, and then I think you do have a picture of this, and the other one is Badgie.
Yeah, I gotta. I'll show
Yeah.
a picture of that in a second. Um, Remind me, like, cause I just wear some cheap Mart Starfleet uniforms.
Hmm.
What all did you cosplay?
Well, one of my Hollow Janeway is a Cosmart uniform, so, and then the other one was Princess Dahlia, or La'an from the Elysium Kingdom.
Okay, I got pictures of both of those.
Yeah.
These ladies were, they were trying to reach to me, brother. They were
Hmm.
heading out to Eden. So fun to see them. Just being space hippies. I ran into Morn. He did talk my ear off. I don't want to revisit it. It was very very long
He
and
looked
boring.
amazing. He looked incredible. Like I would say usually like rubber mask like ones like that always look a little off. That just looked like Morn.
Yeah. It was very instantly recognizable. Um, well
Yeah.
done. Good job. Glad I never saw the dude with his mask off. I never had the illusion broken. He was very, very dedicated. Left the mask on most
Yeah.
of the time when he was out and about, I guess. Oh, and I'm in TNG uniform with my friend Ms. Nelson, who's also in uniform, and here I am with Thad of Infinite Diversity pod, the Infinite Diversity podcast, which I guested on a few weeks ago, and people should listen to them. They're one of my favorite episode by episode Trek review podcasts currently out there. But yeah, here we are as a couple of union men. I'm season 3 O'Brien, and he's seasons 5.5 through 7 O'Brien. And here's
Badgie.
Badgie. There's a happy Badgie who then could turn around and be angry Badgie with our friends Jesse, Rachel, and Aaron Walke. This was a really good cosplay because they had to make like the shoes where you can't really like see it in this picture, but the shoes kind of like they look like they're standing, like the person is like facing you no matter which side of them
Yeah.
you're on. And then they would like
I
have to swing their arms around when they
do
were
not
angry
understand how
Badgie.
this person dealt with walking around. Like I did
Yeah.
see them occasionally without the badgie because no way to sit in this thing.
Yeah, you're a pretty dedicated cosplayer if you're gonna
Yeah.
suit up in that thing.
I did get to
The
see them meet
Magato.
Eugene Cordero, which was great because Eugene Cordero was just like, "Oh my God."
Oh yeah, I don't know if it was this Badgie or a different Badgie. It's probably this one. But during the panel that he was on, the lower decks panel, that couldn't be officially labeled a lower decks panel, I guess. But
Yeah.
uh, when he was on stage and he saw a Badgie cosplayer, he was like, "Oh look, it's my son."
Yeah, Eugene Cordero is hilarious.
Oh, that reminds me of, like, another good story that I heard during the panels. I'm just gonna spit out real quick, but
Yeah.
when Paul Wesley was on stage, he couldn't say it was like when they were shooting an episode of Strange New Worlds, but he just said, one
Hmm.
time when I was working with Ethan Peck, and there was kind of this, important
Hmm.
moment of our characters meeting, and the camera pulls away, and you see us talking but can't hear what we're saying. So, if you've seen Strange New Worlds, you know what we're
Yeah.
talking about. But he had to describe it that way to stay in line with the union. But if you've seen the show, then you would know what he's talking about. And he was saying how that whole time that they're talking, he's just saying a bunch of dirty jokes to try to get Ethan Peck to crack up and break character, which I thought was hilarious because it sounded how William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy would kind of bullshit together when they were
Hmm.
shooting. And I
Hmm.
don't know. I liked hearing that. Everyone said that Paul Wesley is such a he's kind of like a crack up on set, and he's nice,
Yeah.
but I guess he kind of has like a bit of a reputation as like the funny guy, and that he seems, as Kirk, he seems so much more like a straight laced Boy Scout type than how he actually behaves on set. But he seems to be well liked and a nice guy, but just
Yeah. I
yeah, I
would
guess
say if
he's
everyone's like, "Oh, I like him, but he's a bit of a goof," he's probably just like a little goofy, which is like
yeah.
fun.
Oh, there's us together. We
Ah,
have Princess Talia
yeah.
and Vindicta and a Union Man
Yes.
side by side. We learned this is actually the worst place to try to pose for pictures because people
Yeah,
will
we
come
kept
through
people
these
kept
doors
opening
and
that
hit you.
door.
Yeah. So lesson learned. Never do that again.
Yeah.
But you're Talia here with Runa, the dog in a dress.
Yes. I was like, Christina Chong was very excited about the stuffed dog, which was great.
Yeah, I have the
Mhm.
pictures you posted of the pictures you took with
Yeah.
Christina Chong. Has a very
I need to like
priceless
scan
reaction
those.
here.
Yeah. She did. She screamed and went, "Oh my God, that's my dog!"
Because the dog was her real life dog, Runa
Yes.
Ewok.
Yeah, the dog. Yes, the dog is her real life dog.
The actor
Um.
dog in the show, not this one
Yes,
you have
but you
here.
could see like that for like that's her genuine like smile of like it happening, and then yeah, she had the idea. She's like, "Oh, I have an idea," and did like the kissy face of the dog.
Yeah, that's cool. It looks like she was having fun
Yeah.
also.
Hmm. I will say a
Um,
couple people because that was probably the most I talked to people online, where I would talk to different people and they would ask me about the costume because obviously everyone there really liked Christina Chong. But a couple people who were before me, like I noticed they waited around to like watch her meet me, which I thought was funny.
oh, that is funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people wanted to see that reaction.
Yeah.
I get it. I would have liked to have
Mhm.
been there, so I could have
Yeah.
heard her react to you. But glad I got to see the picture of it here.
Yeah.
And, I didn't do any photo ops, but some actors they'll also they sell selfies at their autograph booth. So in the vendors room, the actors they tend to hang out there at their tables where you can get in line to get autographs or selfies, or some of them are like selling things or whatever. You get like a bit more time to talk to people one on one. And like the photo ops, you're
Mhm.
scheduled at a set time, and they kind of run it like an assembly line. You get in front of the camera, snap the picture, and then
Yeah.
run the hell out of the way so the next person can get in and out.
I mean, yeah, it was very special that I got two photos out of one of them.
But I liked getting this selfie with Tawny Newsome, and then I
Mhm.
got another one with Chase Masterson here. We recreated a picture I took with her
Yeah.
2 years ago, but I wanted the new one since I've lost a little bit of weight since then. I wanted to know how I look like now. But I know that you did the Christina Chong pictures. You did the Jonathan Frakes and Marina Sirtis were doing pictures
Yeah.
together. And who,
Yes,
who else
and
did you get?
I got Andrew Robinson was my last photo up, but I got a couple selfies. I guess I could try. I like sent some of the stuff to myself on Facebook Messenger. I wonder if I could just share that from there. Here, I'm just gonna.
Yeah, if you want to share a screen from your computer.
Yeah, maybe I'll just share because I didn't actually download to my computer. They are just on my Facebook. Here, let me. I'm downloading a couple of the ones to show. But yeah, I'll say like when I also got here. This is next to me, so I can show. I got Andrew Robinson to sign this, which is like Lee Sargent or Lee Draw Stuff on Twitter does these doodles, and he did one every day for a year for Star Trek. And I have this one of Armand Bashir, and I got Andrew Robinson to sign it. And I discovered his daughter's name is Rachel because he was really excited that I spelled my name
Oh
correctly.
yes, yeah. It was like the traditional spelling,
Yeah,
not a weird murder a modern one that would freak him
yeah.
out because
I will say,
he's old fashioned.
um, I don't know that Rachel with the second A is weird modern, but it is like not biblical. So I see the two selfies I have on here. Oh, I also feel like I should show. Okay, I'll download that. It's the present button, right?
Yeah.
How do I do just like pictures I have on here?
If you make them full screen, and then just share your entire screen,
Okay,
or
that
you can
makes
open them
sense.
in a Chrome tab and share that tab.
That I will. I'll see if
While you're looking for that,
apparent. Yeah.
I'm gonna show off this
Yes, if
picture of
you.
the Enterprise G. This is over by where David Blass and what's her name? Katwalski. She was
Oh,
the art director on Picard season 3. She helped with the she's part of Dave Blass's team that rebuilt the Enterprise D bridge. But yeah, I don't have a ton of pictures of like the merch in the vendors room, but we did a live stream a few days ago. Thank you, Joel. Liz.
okay. I
I've
think
never
this
tried
might
to
be
say her
easy.
name before, but it's Klogzowski. That's I'm probably getting that wrong, but okay, what do you got, Rachel?
I I am going to just share a Chrome tab opening with my Facebook messages, and the pictures are on there
All
because
right,
it
let's
was
do it.
being weird. Uh,
Or you can send them to me and I'll okay, here we go.
yeah. Here we got I bet Eugene Cordero. And of course, I'm weirdly wearing this like giant ball gown, which is funny. But he asked, he was like, what is this?" And when I was like, "Oh, Stranger Worlds," he's like, "Oh, I remember now." Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But I when I told him I also liked him on The Good Place, he said, "I like me in that too," but in a really charming way. Here's a
Nice.
picture of Andrew
There's
Robinson.
Andy.
Yeah. I'm trying. Oh, I'll do this. There was another Princess Dahlia, and we basically when we saw each other, we did the Spider-Man point at each other.
Oh, cute. I didn't see her. I didn't see y'all run into each other, but I'm glad I got to see this
Yeah,
picture of it.
we. And now I'm like, we should have actually done the Spider-Man point as a picture. I didn't think about that till later. And then I think this is the only other selfie I got, but I did. I met Doug Jones, and then if my friend Kristen is watching this, stop paying attention. I don't think she is though. I also got my friend an autograph of Doug Jones because Doug Jones is like her favorite actor.
And I just informed Dave that we picked him up a gift. We
Oh,
got Dave the
yeah.
Bobby Clark
I
signed
here I'm gonna stop
autograph.
sharing. I have that. I can show that.
Yeah,
I have the folder. Um.
yeah.
Oh, I
I need
guess
to
I didn't
come.
show the picture of Marina and I, or Marina sort of Jonathan Franks and I. Here's what we got, Dave. That is,
So, from the original Gorn actor Bobby
yeah.
Clark, personalized to Dave. Picture Kirk
I.
at the mercy
This
of the
is a
Gorn.
headshot of Anson Mount that came out with it. But yeah, I will say I've made this joke several times. There, I'm not used to seeing people with movie star good looks in real life.
It can be a
I'm
little
like,
jarring, yeah.
I'm like, what? I was like, people aren't supposed to actually look like that. Here's Marina Sirtis, Jonathan Franks, and I. Instead of looking for
That's
a
really
photo on
cool.
Facebook again.
Those,
Yeah.
I love when
I
they do like those pairings, like those group pictures like that.
hmm
That's such an
I
appealing thing.
it also it's like it's a nice it I joked that that photo was for my 12-year-old self who originally got into Star Trek by running home to watch Do you want to see the? It's just a headshot of Anson Mount. It's not even a picture of
Jill
Pike.
wants to see Anson.
Uh, there was a picture. But I said that was for the 12-year-old self who used to run home to watch TNG before anyone else could get the remote. This is so the reason I have a headshot and nothing Strange New Worlds is I had given up on being able to meet Anson Mount because his line was always so long. And then I randomly walked by and no one was there, but I didn't have anything. And I was like, I'm just gonna get a headshot then, because if I run and get something, the line will either he will go away or the line will
Right.
go back up. And I guess I'll tell this story. I said I liked the musical episode to him, and I told a joke about myself, and he smiled at me like he found the joke amusing for a second. And I will say, definitely not used to being smiled at by people that handsome. I was like, oh, wow, like I got it before, but now I really get it.
You know, I think he gets that reaction from a lot of people, including Jill47 in our live audience, who's saying that she always wants to see him. So
think I was like, it was like at the end of the interaction, I was like, thank you, and I like walked away before I said something dumb.
Yeah, that's what you told me. Rachel told me, she was like, yeah, I got out of there before I could say something embarrassing. So it's like, well, not the worst instinct to have, probably, but sounded like you enjoyed the interaction though.
Yeah, it was fun. But I like that I amused him a little. I called myself a grown up theater kid, and that's what got a little chuckle out of him. So I also like that I got him to laugh. I got a little little genuine emotion out of him.
And if people go watch the stream video I did of me just walking around the convention floor and showing all the rooms to everyone, if you go watch that, you actually see me walk past several actors' tables. So you watch it, keep your eyes peeled when I'm walking around the merch room. I think you can see like John Delancey and a few others in there. But let's talk about merch. Like, what did you get other than photos and autographs?
Well, the shirt, the badge. I don't really have a TOS badge to wear with this, even though it's like TOS cut.
The Prodigy one's pretty close.
Yeah.
If you need like a Strange New Worlds badge would be fine.
So my second Strange New Worlds badge just broke last night. It was like a cheap one that came with a costume. The first one broke because my mom put it in the wash and didn't realize there was a badge attached. The second one was just cheap and it broke last night. So I think I need a new one.
Those fan set magnets don't stay glued on. They're not very. They're not great.
Hopefully this one does. I will say neither of the previous badges that I just said broke were fan sets. They were came with a cheap Discovery costume, and the other one I bought somewhere on Etsy. So I don't know who the maker of that is.
Well, other than my selfies with Chase and Tawny, and the autograph I bought Dave, I think the only other things I picked up was this really cool Magato figure that I got from Tex-Trek viewer Chuck A, who had a merch table set up. So it was cool to Chuck, if you're watching this later, or if you're here now, you might be in the live audience. But it was great meeting you, and I really enjoyed getting to chat. What do you got, Rachel?
I was looking through the bag to see what I got, and one of the things in here is the Ponfar preparedness kit. So that was what the giveaway was.
Yeah, let's talk about the Ponfar Action Response Task Force. Right? Did I get it right?
I think so. They were fantastic. Such a good fit.
PFART, as they shortened themselves to, but
they were going around promoting Safe Ponfar, and you would get a kit, which is, I don't know, do you actually want me to show this on Tex-Trek what it is?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, it's a condom. And at one point, I walked by and they were doing the skit for Brent Spiner, and I got a picture of that.
Yeah, they had like this whole like little bit they would do about how like you know when you're in the heat of the moment in Ponfar, and like I don't know, there was like very like scientific Vulcan-y way of describing things. But I'm glad that they got to do the bit to Brent Spiner, because that's hilarious. I didn't actually buy this. It was
our mutual friend Thad got a blind bag of stuff, and then he was giving away stuff he already had. And then I said I thought this was cute, so he gave me this Aurora like action figure.
Nice. Speaking of Chuck, he's right here. So Chuck, I was
Hi,
just
Chuck.
showing off the. I don't know if you saw, but I was showing off the Magato I got at your merch booth. So
I'm like thinking. I also at the end I got a couple pieces of like nerdy jewelry and I'm trying. The problem with jewelry is it's small and falls to the bottom of bags.
while you're looking for the
Um,
jewelry, just the other merch thing I got is this Eric's pin from. I know it's gonna look weird
oh,
because of my green screen, but it's Eric's from the animated series. I tried years ago. I had like fan set pins of all of the original series cast, but also like including like Chapel and Yeoman Rand, and then I had Imres from the animated series, and I really wanted Eric's, and like fan sets wouldn't sell them to me because they're like we don't have them anymore, we're sold out. So it's been like years and years, and then we found I just bought one from like another table who like had one like secondhand. So I finally have that
I
collection
there's
complete.
other jewelry I got too, but I found this. I got some Batleth earrings.
Nice. Yeah, I was with you when you bought
I
those. That's the same place I got
tend to
Eric's.
like Yeah, I tend to like smaller jewelry just because I find not large jewelry distracting looking. I find large jewelry distracting to wear sometimes
That makes
because it's
sense.
like heavy. I got like a magnet. Oh, I got this Chateau Picard coaster, which I could put here. And then I got this Vegas 2023 pin. This all the same place. This looks like it should be a Fansets pin, but I don't think it is.
Yeah, I no, I think it is. I think that's like they made that for
Okay.
their Trek Geeks party um,
Okay.
that we didn't go
Well,
to,
someone
but
was selling it, and I was able to get it.
I was going to.
Um,
Oh, what else you got?
I also somewhere in this bag are earrings that have deltas on them, and I'm not sure where they are. So I think they've just fallen. Oh, I got Badgie as a keychain.
See in the live audience, Mark Boyd is asking if anyone's selling that '60s Spock helmet, and we saw a few people wearing various
Yeah.
different versions of that. I think that were homemade, but the Spock helmet
Oh,
has it's not going away anytime soon. If anything, it's only become more popular in recent
that
years.
oh, that reminds me of the joke about the Murph popcorn bucket. Um, I think they call. I think it was Aaron called the second one of the second prizes for the Prodigy costume contest was that Murph popcorn bucket that retails for like $60, and he called it the Spock's helmet of the Prodigy Murph Prodigy merch.
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
Oh
maybe because I
yeah.
was like really up close and they were doing that. It was also signed, but I was like, oh, I'm glad they also realized because I have made fun of that popcorn bucket before because it's very expensive for what it is.
Yeah, and not as popular of an item as something like a Murph
Yeah.
plush would be.
They were also giving those away. Oh, the only reason why I was that I would have like main reason I would have wanted to win or something would be to get a Murph blush. But I multiple people asked me where I got the Murph I made, which I thought was funny. And I was like, it is a
Yeah,
cardboard cutout.
people want to
I
buy Murph
made it.
stuff.
Yeah. One
Hashtag
person
Murph
when I said I
merch.
made it, like looked at me like they didn't believe me, which I thought was funny. And I was like, it's a cardboard cutout. I don't know that it wasn't. Oh, here it is. I bought a bookmark with Troy on it, and then a couple. I got the Infinite Diversity and Infinite Combination little earrings, and I got a like TNG con badge earring, which are kind of hard to see, but they are small. Here,
Well,
let
as
me
you
see.
said, you have a
Yeah.
preference for small jewelry, so that makes sense.
Yeah. Also, I have kind of sensitive ears, so I need to get nice metal in them, and then that makes it cost more.
So I was gonna ask y'all, should I unbox the Magatu I got from Chuck A's table? Should I take them out of the packaging? I'll leave it up to the viewers to tell me if I should take them out or not. But that's um I don't know if we have a Magato action figure, it'd be fun to. I would even be down like try to like customize it or something. I have a friend who like customizes action figures, so I don't know if we could make like a Tex-Trek themed Magato. It might be interesting to try that. But Jill47 says I always take them out. They are for playing, so I will unbox.
They
I will
are for
unleash the
playing.
Magato.
I will say at least some toys are like actually get damaged if you leave them in the box because like the plastic will like the especially like a Barbie doll or like that kind of toy, the fabric, like color of the fabric will like start rubbing off on their leg because they are meant for playing, not for keeping in box.
Chuck, I got your
If I made
Magato
a bunch
out.
of if I made a bunch of cardboard Mirths and tried to figure out I could pay off. I don't. Someone's student loans at least.
I have not opened a 90s Playmate Star Trek figure probably since the 90s. I've bought a few since then, but my instinct is to always like keep things in the packaging. So I kind of need people to like tell me. I need permission to be given to me to unbox something.
I purposely for the Star Trek Barbies found some of them already unboxed, so no one could guilt trip me about taking them out of the box.
But I'm happy with this Magato.
Yeah, the problem is if you kept them in box, you wouldn't. There's like awesome detail on the back.
Yeah.
Were you trying to see if he could reach his horse?
It looks like he can't, but he can get pretty close. So I don't know if he's gonna be in the watcher position, but he's fierce. He's got a mean mug on him.
Jill says she totally would have that in a Christmas display with Rudolph, and I kind of love that.
The Magatu. I feel like a Magatu would eat a reindeer. Like they're kind of violent.
He looks like the abominable snowman, Bumbles Bounce.
Oh, okay. I was too dumb to catch the joke you were going for. Then he also comes with the gun.
That's me assuming that's what Jill was making a joke about, or maybe making up my own joke.
He comes with one of the guns from that episode that they were using on that planet Neural. I don't know if he can like. That's kind of scary to see like a Magato packing heat. I don't know if I'm gonna arm him with the gun, but it's a real fun figure to have. And I love that like in the 90s, totally. Even like some obscure thing from one episode got a toy. So that's great. Mm-hmm. That's fantastic.
I think we caught like the tail end of an in memoriam thing, and they were talking about Louise Fletcher, and they were saying that like Kai Wynn never got an action figure, and I was like, that seems unbelievable considering how many other ones they made.
Because they didn't a lot of the women characters didn't. A lesser percentage did, because the mentality was that like only boys play with Star Trek toys.
I hate that so much.
Yeah, I mean, it's the reason why like they made all the Transformers.
Also, you didn't think the little boys. You didn't think they didn't think the little boys would want to like destroy Kai Wynn's life? Because I could see a bunch of little boys playing with that action figure like that.
I mean, I think most people would probably want to destroy Kai Wynn's action figure, but you know what? She was a great baddie, and she got what she deserved in the end. I guess if anyone deserved to be in bed with Gul Dukat, it was her. I wouldn't wish that on anyone else.
While watching Deep Space Nine with a friend, is watching it for the first time, like 2 episodes with Kai Wynn, he turned to me and goes, "She dies, right? Like on screen." I was like, "She does. You're gonna have to wait a while, but she does."
Yeah,
like
it's one of the last scenes of the entire show, but it happens.
Louise Fletcher, great at making me hate her character, but an amazing actress.
And I think that was fun for her as well. So yeah, she will be.
Oh yeah,
missed.
Definitely.
But I don't know. I don't have anything else on the convention.
Yeah, I think,
but
no, I'm trying to think of anything. People are right. Doug Jones gives really good hugs. That's my takeaway.
Well, Jill wants to send Hermes the dentist to me. So if Jill, if you send me Hermes, I'll take pictures of him with the Magatu, and then I can send them back. We can do that. Uh, let me know. But yeah, it was
I'm resisting the urge to sing the dentist song from Rudolph because I feel like that would get a copyright strike.
probably. But it was also like during the convention they released the musical episode, so there was some
Mm-hmm.
people enthusiastic for that. Although it is a bit divisive. Not everyone was in love with that, but a lot of people are.
I am.
Um,
If
but
I was like sad I wasn't able to like ask actors about that or the Stranger
yeah,
Worlds the crossover episode.
well, I don't know when the strike will end, but I know it won't
Yeah.
last till next August because Hollywood will
I'd
will
be
need
like, I
to
know it's been a
make
year, but I didn't
content.
get to
So
ask these.
yeah,
I was like, I know it's been a year, but I didn't get to ask these questions last year, so I'm asking it. Um, Joel, have you seen it yet? Actually, that's the really good question.
I'm sure Joel's watched it by now, but
Yeah.
he said he watched it last
Yay!
night, so he's caught up. Um, but yeah, I had a good time at the convention. I don't think the strike really had that huge of an impact on it. For the most part, it
Mm-mm.
was like I wasn't even aware of that.
Yeah.
It just helped us, see how big of an asshole Robert Beltran is. So I guess that was
Mm-hmm.
beneficial. um, not sure if I'll, if he's on a panel at a Star Trek event, I don't know if I'll go to it. I was like, no, I don't know if I want to see that dude, but we'll
It's
see.
just like it was so uncomfortable. Like I said, like the way he was railroading other Chase Masterson made me incredibly uncomfortable.
Yeah, and I see people online asking, they recast Jacote with an actual indigenous actor, so it's I don't know. That's not
That'd be
like
great.
my call to make, but yeah, I would be very open to that. I'd be very open to that change, but
Yeah.
anyways, it's
I was like, I like Chakotay. I have no, especially after a couple days ago, I have no loyalty to Robert Beltran whatsoever. No, I never
well,
really did, but now I really don't.
yeah, he's always been
Does
a
that make
bit
sense?
weird, but Rachel, do you think you'll come back to STLV next year?
I definitely want to. I was like definitely having like con withdrawal, and I was like, I miss being surrounded by all the nerds.
Well, if folks do want to see some Star Trek actors at a convention, there's one coming up here in Austin, Texas, in what 3 weeks, 4 weeks? When is the first? I guess that's 1, 2, 3 weeks from this coming weekend.
Yeah.
So wow, that's coming up. But yeah, GalaxyCon in Austin. I actually just got approval to run a panel there, so I'm just like, oh wow, I actually have to
Nice.
like yeah, but it's gonna be like a lot of work
You
now because like, oh, I've never done this before, so I gotta learn how to make a presentation for a panel and then do that.
yeah.
So that's what I'm gonna be working
Do you
on.
know what day?
No, we don't know the actual date yet, but I
Okay.
will.
I
I'll
will.
I'll let you know as soon as I know because I
Yeah.
would I would my preference would be not to be like on stage by myself. So if I could get you or Dave there, that'd be great, or both.
Yeah. I would say the first is Friday, right?
Affirmative.
Okay. I was like, hopefully it's Saturday. That way, because I can definitely be there on a Saturday
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
or
And
Sunday.
we're also doing a live stream, if y'all didn't hear me mention earlier, but tomorrow night we're doing a live stream breaking down that Prodigy clip that Rachel and I saw at the convention, but is also posted on StarTrek.com. So it's a 4-minute clip, showed a huge scene from Prodigy season 2, the Protostar kids. Maybe I shouldn't call them the Protostar kids anymore. They're not. They're not on the Protostar. The Voyager A kids, the Voyager kids. No, the Voyager kids are like those ex Borgs.
Uh,
The
I think
Rock
we might
Talk
have
in
to
the
go with
gang.
Prodigy Kid.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Prodigy kids. The Prodigy kids
Yeah.
meet the Doctor. So
I like Rock Talk in the gang because I
it
like
sounds like a
Dal, but Dal would
band.
be really mad that like
Yeah,
Rock Talk is the
you're like, no, it's Dal and the gang, and everyone will be like,
yeah.
oh, Rock Talk. Rock Talk's bigger. It takes up
That
the most screen
reminds me. I
presence.
got like
So
another email to be like confirm your pre-order for date change for the second part of the first season of Prodigy. And I was like,
well,
please just I was like I'm always gonna want it. Just give it to me. Like
yeah. But yeah, we'll do a stream breaking that down tomorrow, and then the Strange New Worlds finale is this week. What a huge week! So we'll have the first reaction stream. I assume Rachel Thursday.
Yeah, I'll definitely be there.
Okay, and then we'll have the deep dive discussion Friday with me and Dave one last time, and then that's it for Strange New Worlds season 2. So we'll see how
I'm not for Strange New Worlds for a little bit.
yeah, not probably not getting any Strange New Worlds next year. So it's going to be the last one we get for a while, just with the strike delay in production. But of course, Lower Decks coming later in the year. We'll be covering that weekly. And I'm excited for GalaxyCon, and I'm excited for whatever we're covering in the meantime between Strange New Worlds and Lower Decks. So we're coming up with some stuff to discuss in the coming weeks. But thank you everyone who's able to tune in and hear about our experience at STLV this year. Please give us a subscribe if you like our content and would like to see more. And until next time, as always, live long and prosper, y'all.